Okay, today is August 16th, and I just wanted to do a little update here to see what's popping off in the garden. Things are blooming, things are going steady, and I just harvested a bunch of little Jack B. Little pumpkins. So the pumpkin plants aren't doing amazing exactly. Looks like they have powdery mildew, probably some other kind of fungus thrown in there too. But they're still doing stuff and they're producing. Look, this one here is climbing up a tomato plant, which I had a feeling might happen, but you let nature take its course. So a couple things I'm excited about. The larger variety pumpkin I got, which is called Connecticut Field Squash, finally started producing some fruit. As you can see, there's one, and here's another guy. It's kind of odd shaped, but I'll take them. And my Jack B. Littles did awesome this year. I got a lot of them. There's still a bunch on the plant that we can harvest at a later time. I just harvested a bunch of them right there. But I am really excited about the watermelon. So I did two varieties of watermelon. One is called Crimson Sweet and the other is called Sugar Baby. So that's a Sugar Baby right there. And I think this one is actually ready to be harvested, because you can tell if the tendril closest from the main stem that the watermelon is growing on, it's all like dried up and icky looking like that. That means it's time to cut her down. So I might do that. I might actually wait for the kids to get home from camp and share that lovely experience if they're willing. And this guy, it's actually the first one I noticed. And we were really excited about it because it's the biggest one so far. And I've been checking every day, and it looks like this one is finally ready to go as well. So I'm really excited about that. I will be taking pictures and keeping track of what everything looks like. This is the Crimson Sweet, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully it won't be too seedy. Even if it is, hey, at least it's not a $10 or $12 watermelon at the grocery store. Woohoo! So yeah, that's what's going on with the back garden today. We got a bunch of other watermelons here. And here comes Keith coming out to see why I'm talking to myself. Oh, maybe not. Anyway, tomatoes back here are not doing that great. I kind of like neglected these guys, kind of forgot about them with all the other stuff going on, but they're still producing. I recently deadheaded all of the marigolds, so they're coming back nicely. They were leaning over after the storms a lot. Like they were falling on the ground just about. So I trimmed them way back and they are much happier as a result. Tomato area is still popping off pretty well. I think this is actually one of the best places for tomatoes this year. They are, the cherries really produce a lot in smaller varieties, but the other ones are still doing stuff too, so that's cool. And we'll peek over here, let's see. As you can see, the treehouse has come a long way from the last time. So I did a couple things to this garden. I took out all of the large marigolds that were out here. I replaced them with the tinier, bushier variety I have, which is the red gold bicolor. And I transplanted them back here, the tall ones back here anyway, and they need to be watered really bad, but they are still alive. They also need to be deadheaded, but they're still alive and they're serving a purpose. So that is all well and good. And everything out here is doing okay too, producing a lot of tomatoes. I just recently cleaned out like all the dill. I cleaned up these beds here and trimmed all of the dead off the cucumbers. I just kind of left the top, which is now also dead. It looks like these are just on their way out, and that's okay because we had a ton of cucumbers this year. There's still a couple actually left over here on the plant that are growing, but I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna just get sunburned and icky. Oopsie, there's a nice size one right there. Yeah, so the plan is to rip all of this out pretty soon, and I am going to put something in these beds for the fall, probably like peas, something climbing. I think peas would do well here, and I might mix in like some carrots and radishes and some root crops as well, just to experiment and try. So that worked out well while it lasted, but I did plant the cucumbers in early April, so I'm afraid they are just they're done. They've run their course. Over here, the pollinator garden, everything is tall and huge. A lot of stuff has died. It looks like some of these cosmos just maybe from not watering. I was sick last week and it wasn't really as diligent about watering as I usually am. So it looks like some of these actually just burnt up and are done. Other ones that looks like I can probably save, come out here and deadhead them and trim back the burnt stuff and see what happens. The zinnias are huge. The sunflowers I have kind of cut back, removed a lot of the large heads. I harvested a few actually. I'm gonna try and save the seeds, but I'm debating on whether, yeah, because they're like still producing heads, which is so cool. These are the Teo variety, which is an heirloom seed from Baker Creek, and if you cut that big head off, apparently they start producing little heads, which I always find fascinating. But they are kind of running to the end of their course as well. So I'm thinking about like the zinnias here, cutting everything way back, kind of ripping out all this dead stuff and just getting it prepped for fall. Like these zinnias back here are huge, humongous. And I think if anything, I'm gonna start with these because behind them is where I did the moonflowers, which are actually blooming. They're not gonna bloom right now because it's you know, daytime, but they are blooming at night and they look really cool. So I think I'm gonna trim the zinnias back so we can see more of them and enjoy them throughout the rest of the summer, which is coming to a close soon. It's definitely August. The powdery mildew is everywhere. This guy has had spider mites pretty much since the beginning. And although he has produced a lot of fruit, which these are actually delicious, these are called spoon tomatoes, I left it here and it's kind of just been acting as a trap crop because the rest of my stuff is perfectly fine. So I'm kind of glad I made that decision to just let it go and let it do its thing, because everything went to that and this stuff all looks pretty good and healthy. So yeah, that's the garden tour. These are the moonflowers coming up here. They're climbing up here. This one's even trying to take over the chair. And I don't know why, but I'm super excited about that they're coming up here on the porch. So one of these nights when they're blooming, I will have to take a video to document that. All right, so garden tour, August 16th, 2023.